The college football experience, UTSA Roadrunners 2022 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, presented by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by Run Your Pool. Yes, head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor to get your free entry in our NFL Survivor contest. First place gets $500 cash and a $250 gift card to the brand new SGPN merch store. So do that thing today and let it ride.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience, UTSA Roadrunners 2022 season preview episode. Meep, people. My name is Colby Swinging Dantabase Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Always fun talking UTSA. UTSA is exactly what I want a lot of universities to do. They're a perfect example of just starting a brand new football program not that long ago, and now look at them rolling. I am joined by I've been wanting to get this guy on the show for a while because I feel like he's on the same level when you're talking college football. You know, we can talk about backup punters going on at Holy Cross, I'm sure, but he hosts the Coastal Covers podcast, which I strongly recommend. Check it out. Give it up for Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Man, same thing. It is awesome to be here today. I remember a long time ago, I stumbled across a little podcast called the Sports Gambling Podcast. Real simple. Two dudes, Ryan and Sean, talk about sports gambling, mostly football, and every now and then they had a guy named Colby D. They called him the Dantabase. And I was like, holy shit, this dude actually knows what he's talking about. It's insane. It's not Corso just fumbling around with a mascot head. And then came the college football experience. I'm like, this is great. Pick Dundee happened. The rest is history. Now here I am, excited to be here, chopping it up about the Roadrunners, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, anytime, man. We've come full circle. And like I said, guys, check out the Coastal Covers podcast. Cause I've only had a few conversations with Mike, but I know game recognizes game. I hear it and I go, this dude knows what he's talking about. All right. He knows what he's talking about. You can't fake certain things. So excited to have you here. Let's just talk for a second about this program though, because they're kind of one of the more interesting programs, I think. Well, first off, if you look at spring leagues, it was the AAF not that long ago, even the original World League in '91. San Antonio's kind of had this thirst for football, I feel like. And you look back and this program was started in 2011. 2011, this program started. Larry Coker was the head coach, and you know, they're a perfect example to me. I lobby for George Mason to get a foot. I grew up close to George Mason, I grew up in the DC area, and with the Redskins no longer being the Redskins and what Dan Snyder has done to that franchise, it is a thirst. That whole city loves football, but there's nothing. Maybe the Ravens. I think people are turning into the Ravens or something. Maybe the XFL team, whatever they call themselves now. Either way, this is a perfect blueprint of what throwing some money behind. And look, I'm not just saying this as in like, hey, just support football because we love football. No, they're going to get there. This is a smart business model, I believe. You look at what's happened here. Coker, year 2 of the UTSA program, he went 8-4. in the Western Athletic Conference. That was not in the FBS, I believe. So then they jumped to the FBS, 7-5, 4-8, 3-9, 6-7. They switch. I mean, they're in the Frank Wilson era, and then they kind of struggle in the Wilson era. 2 kind of bowl eligible seasons, 6-5 in 2017 didn't get him into a bowl, but it did in 16. Then 18 and 19, the wheels kind of come off. 3 wins, 4 wins, and then Jeff Traylor is hired as the head coach of the Roadrunners. And man, I'll be honest, he made me look like a fool in year 1. Now, year 1 in 2020, COVID year, he goes 7-5. I was on the under in UTSA that year. And you know, I watched him and I go, dude, this guy's pretty good. And then last year I did lock up the over, so it treated me well when they went 12-1. What do you make of this program, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, they came up, you know, already in 2013, they went 7-5. Like you said, they were already pumping out talent like Marcus Davenport, which the dude was just a blast to watch. Ridiculous. And now, like you said, I mean, last year that I was on the same thing. I was all over this team last year. I thought they were going to be really good. They even surpassed my expectations. And I think it says more that Jeff Traylor and this staff stuck around this year. I mean, you had 2 Texas jobs open up, TCU and Texas Tech. You telling me neither of those guys came calling with what Jeff Traylor did?
I believe they did come calling because I think he re-upped with UTSA, and I don't have the quote in front of me at the moment, but I believe he said something like, they took the chance of investing in me, so I'm going to invest in them. And I thought, oh man, I love this program. I love where it's headed. Like I want him to stay like Peterson did at Boise for such a long time, because 12-1 a season ago. I mean, pretty impressive performance by Jeff Traylor. Now we hop into this season, and obviously they lose their offensive coordinator to the Fighting Illini, but they do have 8 starters back. They break in. They're going with the 2 offensive coordinator system, which is always interesting to me. Sometimes I believe you can have too many cooks in the kitchen, but maybe Traylor knows what the hell he's doing. I got no reason to doubt him. He's 19-7 in 2 years in San Antonio. But the new OCs, Will Stein and Matt Maddox, 8 starters back, as I alluded to, inheriting the 11th best scoring offense in the country, 43rd best rush offense, 43rd best pass offense. You want to talk about balance, 34th best offense in the country. And they bring back 8 starters. Like I said before, Frank Harris, he's back at quarterback. Now the running back position, Sincere McCormick's gone. He's playing pro ball. But man, they landed Trelon. Was it Trelon Smith? I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, Trelon Smith from Arkansas. Getting him. They also have a JUCO transfer in Ty Edwards. I think the backfield is pretty. It's probably going to be on par. I know McCormick was a baller, but I think it's going to be on par with the season ago. They get 3 starters back at the receiver position, and Joshua Cephus, Zakhari Franklin, and DeCorian Clark. They are breaking in a new tight end, and Oscar. It's projected to be Oscar Cardenas, but 4 of 5 on the offensive line, dude. This offense is going to be rolling again, even with 2 new coordinators. What do you think?
No, I think the same thing. They bring back all their backup running backs from last year, and what I really liked about the Trelon Smith kid, he had actually decided he was going to transfer to TCU, and Jeff Traylor talked him off that and brought him over to UTSA, which I think is absolutely huge. The dude had 1,300 yards and 10 TDs over 2 seasons in Arkansas and averaged over 5 yards a carry. So I think it's going to be plug and play with this dude. I think he wants to play. The offense, you mentioned all the returning talent. 9 of the slated starters are seniors, and the other 2, they're redshirt juniors. Tons of experience. Like you said, with the O-line, they're solid. I see no reason this team's going to take a step back.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch the offensive coordinating situation, if they become more of a run team, more of a pass team, because I couldn't believe those numbers that I put up. 43rd rush offense, 43rd pass offense. Talk about balance, people. On the defensive side of the ball, Jess Lope is the defensive coordinator, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. 50th in scoring defense, 14th in rush defense. But if there's one area really to improve this defense, 105th in pass defense a season ago, charting at 58th overall. They bring just 1 of 3 back on the D line and Brandon Matterson. which makes you wonder if that rush defense can stay at that elite level. They are returning 2 of 3 in the linebacking core, led by Trevor Harmison, and just 2 of 5 in the secondary, led by Corey Mayfield. Also breaking in a new kicker, but returning the punter. What do you make of the defense?
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Traylor too, this team had the first, they were first in fewest penalties per game in the Conference USA, number 1 in turnover margin. So I expect discipline on both sides of the ball. Still on defense, they do transfer in a D lineman from LSU, so that's going to help out a lot. 10 of the 11 slated starters are all upperclassmen. The kicker situation, that kicker from last year, Hunter Duplessis, kind of a tricky name to pronounce, but he was actually first team All Conference USA. But they did bring back Jared Sackett through the portal, who he actually started his career with UTSA. He wasn't bad. He transferred to Arkansas, then transferred to USF down here by me, and now he's going back. So he's familiar with the team, familiar with the environment. I'm expecting big things, man. I mean, they brought in another cornerback from West Virginia. I know you're going to hit the portal, so a safety from DBU, LSU. I like it. I think they're going to be fine. They do got to shore up that pass defense, though.
Yeah, because I think the schedule's a little tougher. We're going to get to the schedule. We're going to get to the transfer portal. We're going to get to what Las Vegas expects. By the way, if you're not watching on YouTube, you should be, because you can see what Las Vegas expects. Subscribe to the College Football Experience on YouTube at youtube.com/thecollegeexperience. We're going to get to all that, though. But first, I got to get us paid. I want to tell you folks out there that the UTSA Roadrunners 2022 season preview episode is brought to you by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet. Get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by Run Your Pool. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor to get in our free. It's free to enter our NFL Survivor contest. First place gets $500 cash and a $250 gift card to the SGPN store. We're also brought to you by Odds Trader. Yeah, Odds Trader. Probably wondering, hey, what the hell is this? Well, let me tell you. Odds Trader is a place to compare odds from all the major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promo codes from sportsbook to sportsbook to assure that you get the best deal possible. The app also provides player stats, key game stats, injury reports, projected game day weather for bettors, that make the most informed bets possible. It also has a bet tracker, and that's one of my favorite things, because you get into like November, I know me and Mike will probably have this problem where you have a few bets going on in college football. You got a few bets going on in the NFL. You got a few bets going on in college basketball, and maybe NHL. I don't know, maybe NBA. I don't know what your cup of tea is, but this happens where I'm just like, I'm unorganized. And then what's great is this organizes it for you. Reminds you what's going on, what you got action on. So go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. OddsTrader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper is the fastest growing fantasy platform today with millions of players. Yes, you probably already have a fantasy league on there. I know I do, but they have a brand new over-under game that is fantastic. First, in any sport, you can choose 2 or more players you like, and you pick the over or the under on their stat projection. And if you pick correctly, you can win anywhere from 2 times to over 20 times the amount of money you put in. And with NFL season right around the corner, Sleeper is the first sports contest game built into the fantasy experience. So right now, what are you doing on your mobile phone? Join our listener group on Sleeper at sleeper.com/SGP, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. Once again, that is sleeper.com/SGP, and you get a $100 match on your first deposit. And last but not least, we are brought to you by a couple more. Trade Coffee. Yes, Trade Coffee connects customers to the freshest and best tasting coffee they've ever made at home by partnering with the country's best craft roasters. These are independent businesses from big cities and small towns. And let me tell you, it's expert tasted. They have a team, and what a job this would be. They taste test thousands of coffees every day. All right. I mean, I don't know about 1,000 a day, but they have over 450 different kinds live, ready to ship out. It's fascinating, right? They're just professional coffee tasters, right? There's no one perfect coffee, but there is a perfect coffee for you. And they have this human-powered algorithm over at Trade that will match and find you the right coffee for you. My brother got this; he loves it. I can't recommend this enough. So right now, Trade is offering new subscribers a total of $30 off your first order plus free shipping when you go to drinktrade.com/SGP. That's more than 40 cups of coffee for free, people. That's like $1,000 at Starbucks. All right, get started by taking their quiz at drinktrade.com/SGP and let Trade find you a coffee that you'll love. We're also brought to you by Dave. Yes, Dave is the banking app that can help you get $500 instantly. And I'm going to be honest with you here because we've all been in a jam. All right. I will tell you my own personal one. I was 18 years old. I went to Cancun, got absolutely hammered, spent way more money than I anticipated. And I had about 10 days still left. And I said, this is impossible because the peso's so low. How did I spend this much money? Right. But it did happen. And, it's embarrassing if you got to call back to mom or dad or your brother, say, dude, can you do me a solid? I will get you more money when I get back home and start working again. But that happens. It happens in life. Well, you can avoid the embarrassment by getting Dave. All right. And what's great about Dave, like I said, it's a banking app that can help you get $500 instantly, but there's no interest. There's no credit check needed. So if your credit's been destroyed by decisions you made in maybe your early 20s, teenage years, this thing has got your back. All right. There's more money to fill your tank, buy a wedding gift, catch up on bills, whatever the situation. When you're in a jam, hit up Dave. Download the Dave app from the App Store right now. That's DAVE. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve, member of the FDIC. All right, we are back talking Roadrunner football. I'm excited for this season. I mean, I was really excited to watch them last year. Now, the transfer portal, we got to get to this because I actually think they did quite well in the transfer portal. Let's get to it. Mike alluded to this. Defensive lineman Joseph Evans coming in from LSU. One of two guys from LSU. Also safety Quentin Cage coming in. Cornerback Nick Troyroy Fortune. He is a projected starter for UTSA as well. So great get. He comes in from West Virginia. Trelon Smith, which I alluded to, who, like I said, kind of jumped off screen for me at Arkansas the past couple of years. He's in there. He's penciled in as a starter. Wide receiver Chris Carpenter comes in from the Colorado Buffaloes. Offensive tackle Payne Hebert either or coming in from Northwestern. Kicker Jared Sackett, which Mike was talking about before. He's coming home. Homecoming for Jared Sackett. And cornerback Tony Wallace from TCU. That's what they're bringing in. Now it's 2022. We got to grade this thing because it's batshit crazy, but I got to talk about what they lost because, these teams, this isn't like 10 years ago, man. This. It's like I compare it to like the 405 freeway out in LA here on a Friday. It is just bananas of who's coming, who's leaving. But I think they got some great gets, but I got to get to what they lost. Tight end Alan Horace. He went to Samford. Says, fuck it, I'm going to the FCS. Then we got safety Jamal Sam in the portal. Wide receiver Gregory Clayton in the portal. Safety Sean Berry in the portal. They lost quarterback Lowell Narcissi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. My apologies if not. He went to Nichols in the FCS. And offensive lineman Monty Williams went to Tyler Junior College. I think that's in Tyler, Texas, where Larry Johnson, the former UNLV running Rebel, went. Quarterback Jordan Weeks hit the portal. That was actually last year. That was in September last year. So I would say they definitely won the transfer portal. How about yourself?
Yeah. So for one, I remember listening to segments all the time with you going over these names and butchering them, and I'd be laughing. I'd be like, "Damn, man, Colby's crazy. He can't hit these names." And now I started doing my own podcast, and like sometimes I'm like, "Bro, it's a 5-letter name. Like I gotta get this." Like you hit Payne Hebert, but like I don't know how to say that. He threw an apostrophe in the middle of it. How am I supposed to get this,
dude? Dude, you know what I've noticed too is that the announcers can get it wrong. Yeah, like Lance Leipold. I've had so many Kansas and Buffalo fans hit me up over the year saying, "Dude, you're saying it wrong." Because I would say Leopold, right? And then I'm like, so then I switched to Leopold for like an episode, and then I watched like Kansas or Buffalo game, whatever, and then the announcers are like, yeah, Lance Leopold. So I'm like, all right, so that fan was wrong. The announcer should probably know. He's probably interviewed him, but I still get the messages all the time. Like I got no idea what it is. I know when I do the BYU preview. Shout out to Welcome to UAB, longtime loyal fan of ours. He that's his favorite episode of the year because I just need to get hammered. I feel like if I'm drunk, I actually do it better. I can read the Islanders names because man, that is tough when you're going through BYU's roster.
my favorite thing over the last few years, man, as if watching triple option football wasn't like enough of a blessing, watching service academies play, watching announcers dance around linebacker Diego Fago's name.
Oh man,
that was I heard it every which way. It was perfect.
That is another one. I mean, we were doing play-by-play in COVID. You know, during COVID, we were calling that one on. We did like an NCAA football tournament, and we were doing play-by-play on the video game because we were creating our own lines. It was crazy. There was no sports on, so we were deep trying to find ways to gamble, and that one was an issue for all me, Sean, and Brian. But yeah.
The more drinks you get, the more dangerous it becomes. Transfer portal, dude. This is one of the most clear-cut teams I've seen this whole year. You went through all the teams. Like I don't even really see any of these guys that left that went anywhere impressive. I mean, you got guys going JUCO, you got guys going to Nichols, Sam Houston. You mentioned. Meanwhile, I got 8 Power 5 that I counted that came into San Antonio. I think it's pretty clear cut. The thing that anybody that knows anything about Roadrunner football, they're gonna, they lost Sincere McCormick, but they brought in Trelon Smith from Arkansas. I think that says enough, but I think it's clear cut. I think they dominated the portal.
I agree, and like you said, no one left to even like FBS schools. No one even left to like I don't know, South Florida or something, but. I think they dominated the portal. Now, like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, you see this sweet graphic here. Shout out to the SGPA graphic team. 8.5 wins is what is projected in Las Vegas from the Roadrunners. Now, on first reaction, without looking at the schedule, I say, dude, I'm gonna lock up the over, right? Wouldn't you? What was your first reaction from seeing 8.5 wins as the win total?
I mean, besides like how much I like this team right now, I was jumping at it. I couldn't wait. And then we're going to get to, I saw the first 3 games and I wanted to chuck my pen across the room. I was pissed.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they did have the benefit. Well, I remember last year when I was going through and I locked up the over, they had the benefit of, I thought, a pretty nice schedule. And I mean, I had them beating Illinois. I know Patty C called me a fool for that one, but they did beat Illinois, but I mean, they didn't play a ton of great competition. That's the only, but hey, you can only win the games on your schedule. You know what I mean? Like,
right. And beating Memphis at the Liberty Bowl. I mean, that's one of the hardest places to win. That's low key. That place is tough as hell to win.
Yeah. And that was a wild game, man. Cause Memphis went up big and UTSA battled back to steal that thing. By the way, the juice on this, the over's at plus 130. So if you're a Roadrunner fan and you say, hey, we're doing this year, man, you got some good juice going your way. The under is at minus 150. So Vegas leaning towards an 8-4 season from the Roadrunners. Let's get to it. Meep. Man, week 1, this game low key awesome. I know everyone's talking Notre Dame, Ohio State. I know everyone's talking Utah, Florida, which, and I love the backyard brawl. That's probably my favorite because of the hatred. But this is one of the low key games, or I know people talking Oregon, Georgia too, but I actually think this one could be one of the best games of week 1 Saturday. Houston travels to the Alamo Dome where David Robinson used to roll down his socks. What are you doing here, man?
Man, I wish this game, it wasn't week 1 because Houston does have Texas Tech on deck, but it's hard to say that they're going to look ahead from week 1. Now I will say in 2014, UTSA beat Houston in Houston. So
I love it.
It happened, but I mean, I kind of got to go with the loss here. Just going logic. Game 1, they're going to be ready for it. Houston, I feel like the D line is going to be able to stop the run. So I got an L.
That was so impressive about Houston last year that I did not see coming. Even though I think I was on the over, but I just thought their schedule kind of favorable. And their defense played their ass off for Houston. It wasn't most of the time you think Holgerson's offenses fly. Man, that defense for the Cougars. Oh man, this game's tough because when I did the Houston preview, I said I had them going 1-1, being that they beat either Texas Tech or UTSA. I think if I go back and listen to myself, I'm trying to be accurate based on what I recorded before. I think I had Houston winning this one and losing to Texas Tech. So I will honor that. But man, I think the Alamo Dome is going to be lit for this, man. I think this they have something, you know. I know Patty C will bring up like Miami back in the 70s before they really got good. It's just a city that wanted football. Football's around there. And you can make that comparison to San Antonio. They want football. That's why the XFL is going there. The fan base, this could turn into one of the harder places to play down the road if they can continue to build that winning culture. Having said that though, I'm on Houston and I can't wait to watch that game. Now week 2, man, week 2, they go from taking on the air raid to heading up to Mitchie Stadium in West Point. Oh man, my guy Jeff Monken, UTSA at Army. This game right on the Hudson River there. What are you doing here, my friend?
This is like one of the absolute worst spots I've ever seen a team get a service academy right sandwiched in between in-state big brothers, Houston and Texas. Like how, like Jeff Traylor banged the athletic director's wife. Like what happened here when they were making this non-conference schedule?
I bet you it was probably done like 7 years ago, and they thought like, "Hey, Army's a hiccup. That's an easy win." And then Monken comes in there and turns them into contenders.
right. Yeah, they'll all be in Russia by then. They won't even have a team. I will say at least Jeff Traylor, they played him in 2019 and they played him in 2020. So they've played him twice with Jeff Traylor. Or did he come in 2019, right?
No, he came in 2020.
So
yeah.
Once, right. But they did lose. It was by 12 points. But after the Houston game, being on the road in West Point, I don't see it. I think it's a loss.
Wow. I mean, look, this is an awesome game too. Look, I'm taking UTSA to win this just because I think they got to win one of the first 3. All right. And I know that the road game, that's a far trip too, but I don't know, man, this is a tough call because you're completely right. This is sandwiched after. So you have the emotional Houston game. You know that the week 3 game is going to be emotional, which we haven't got to yet, but they take on the Longhorns of Texas. I just say they find a way to get the dub. They beat Army. Give me a 38-35 win in West Point. 1-1, 0-2 for Mike. Then they head into Darrell Royal Stadium there in Austin, Texas. Take on Texas. Now here's the benefit. And I should have pulled up this stat, but I did not. So my apologies to the listeners. At the teams that play after playing Alabama have this terrible record. I know because every time like CBS, Gary Danielson will cover this and say like, yeah, the teams that play Saban the week after, not only they beat up, I think that just also they got worked. So like morale is down. You know what I mean? So. Texas lost a couple guys out for the year in the past like 72 hours. Isaiah Nair, their wide receiver that transferred in from Wyoming, and then their offensive lineman that had the most starts of that whole unit out for the year. Both of them. Maybe that plays a role. Quinn Ewers, the Bosworth of quarterbacks. Any chance you got the nerve to call for a Roadrunner upset?
All right, so for one thing, Quinn Ewers, I noticed this offseason. I think he looks like, you remember the Wonder Years? You remember Wayne Arnold, the big brother? Yes, that's who I think he looks like 100%. And I love it. It's Butch McAllister, it's Wayne Arnold. Those are the 2 worst big brothers in history. And I think it's Wayne Arnold's even worse. Sick ass,
and with him stealing to like $2 million basically from Ohio State,
it's a real Wayne Arnold move.
Fitting that move, yes, fitting that character.
I mean, following Alabama, that is rough, but then also on UTSA's part, you never want to follow anybody tough.
That's true.
The triple option.
That is very true.
Now look, I'm wearing the shirt. This is the shirt I wear every football game every Saturday since the Texas Longhorns ruined college football. Horns down all day. I can't stand that team. However, after the triple option, I don't know how you're ready to go in this one. I will say Texas 114th run defense last year. Maybe there's a chance, but I got the L. I got the L, man.
I agree. I got him losing that one. So for you, Mike's already got him 3 losses. They can't afford another loss based on that number. I got him 1-2, hoping that now they can find their stride when Michael Strahan's alma mater, Texas Southern, comes in to UTSA week 4. I mean, we're going UTSA there, right? We can go past this, right?
Yeah, 2-8 FCS. It's an orange out game I saw on their scheduling notes. So yeah, they're apparently going to be pumped up for the orange out. Yeah, easy win.
Then Friday night, shorter week by a little bit. They had to. I always love the name of this stadium, Johnny Red Floyd Stadium. That just sounds like I should be drinking bourbon and smoking cigarettes or something. You know what I mean? Like it's just a perfect. I feel like I need to go there in like a Corvette, like an '80s Corvette, and just wearing denim. I don't know. It just seems cool. Any chance MTSU? I remember I think it was the 20 season. They played them close in his first year there. Any chance in Murfreesboro? I've been to the stadium. It's surprisingly at times the fans can come out to this thing. What are you doing here? UTSA runs away with it.
Yeah, I mean Ricky Stockstill, he keeps a good program there. But UTSA has won 3 straight, and I think this is going to be one of MTSU's worst teams in a little while here. I think he takes this one pretty easy.
I agree. So that for me, then it puts him at 3-2. For you, 2-3. The over's still alive. Then we just saw, or I don't know if folks saw, but Jared Deggy, the projected starting quarterback of Western Kentucky, who's a transfer from West Virginia via Bowling Green. He was not named the starter, and he did the classic 2022 move. You know what? Peace out. I'm not the starter. Right? Who knows what can happen in week 1? Right? I don't know. I sound like an old man here, but I just think that's just crazy to me. Anyway, Western Kentucky. This was the CUSA championship game a year ago. They come into the Alamo Dome, but Zach Kitley's gone, who fired the Bailey Zappi's gone, who just had a pretty good preseason game for the Patriots. Any chance you're taking the Hilltoppers with an upset there in the Alamo Dome?
No. You better be careful giving people a hard time. I heard that Blake Corum breath or whatever from the other day, he's going to wreck his car. So I don't want to hear about a death on the highway out there. Take it easy. No, UTSA got him twice last year and got him in the conference USA championship, and that was a better Western Kentucky team. I love that you get them at home in the Alamo Dome. No, I'm going UTSA. Yeah,
I'm all over UTSA here. Then comes a game to the airport. All right, a little layover in Hangar 5 at Ricardo Silver Stadium. Now, look, I like the Mike McIntyre hire. I just don't think it's gonna be a little bit of a project. All right, so I think UTSA gets the dub, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mike's got them playing a little chippier and it's a harder win than maybe the Roadrunners projected. But give me UTSA. How about yourself?
No, everything that I've been tracking on this Florida International team is that they were left kind of in shambles by Butch Davis there. He wanted a lot more money put into that program that they were willing to put into it. And he kind of threw a hissy on his way out the door. So I think Mike McIntyre has quite a ways to go there to build things back up. I think it's an easy win. Right on. The UTSA rolls at the airport. Then, okay, this one's my most confident one, I think, because last year the Mean Green and Seth Luttrell, who former fullback at Oklahoma, I always loved the fact that when Mike Leach dropped a fake playbook walking into the locker room, Mike Leach was OC of Oklahoma, and he purposely dropped a fake playbook walking into the locker room, but he had Luttrell do it. They practiced this all week. Luttrell was the fullback on the team at the time, and then Texas grabbed it, and then Oklahoma went up, I think 21-0 in that game before Texas realized it was a dummy move. Made me a Seth Luttrell fan from the start and a huge Mike Leach fan. But last year, North Texas was the team in Denton, Texas, that put it on UTSA.
This is a revenge spot. I think the whole team, you mentioned all those seniors. I think they remember that game. I got UTSA big in this game. You?
Yeah, for one, if you've ever watched The Waterboy, you got to clutch those notebooks and never let it go. Hang on to that sucker, man. You don't let that thing out of your hands. So they should have known better. They should have known Leach was pulling one over. Lucky he didn't lock him in a closet like he did with his players back in the day. My favorite Mike Leach story there. That's mine.
There's a lot. There's a lot out there.
Yeah, North Texas, they've kind of had UTSA's number a little bit. They've won 4 of the last 5, but I mean, you said it. UTSA waited a little bit to release their homecoming game on the schedule, and it just came out recently. Their homecoming game is this game. They are going to put it on North Texas. Yeah, it's done deal. They're done there. I'm betting the spread too. I'm laying whatever UTSA is laying.
Me too here. So that puts us at the bye week. So at the bye week, I got them sitting there at what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-2. You got them at 5-3. Very much alive on the over. The positive juice. They get a bye week, and then they head. This is a sneaky game. They get. I think they put the bye week there at a good spot. You know, like right before they head to the new stadium down there in Birmingham, Protective Stadium, to take on UAB. But all of a sudden, you know, I kind of looked at this as a loss earlier, but Bill Clark's gone. And I wonder, I know there was an article just released about, you know, what happened there. And I know he had some crazy back surgery, but it also seemed like he was kind of wanting to get out of there anyway. So it makes me wonder about, I mean, I think they're very talented. I actually think they're probably, aside from UTSA, they're probably the most talented team in the CUSA. So it makes me think, okay, well, UAB could grab that win, but what do you make of Clark leaving and potentially, you know, will they be as good and as sound as they traditionally are? Will they be better? I mean, I don't know. They do have a game. They're coming off of a game at Florida Atlantic, which Taggart's team's supposed to be pretty good this year. Who knows? They'll probably be the most penalized again. What are you doing here, though?
I hate Willie Taggart, man. Yeah. So I was the same way. I was looking at this game and I was thinking, man, I like that they get the bye, but that might be a loss there. And then the news with Bill Clark broke, and I was like, man, that sucks. And I thought back to OU last year when Sullets retired, and the OC took over. Tim Albin took over, and I was like, okay, you know, they're going to be all right. He's been there with Sullets forever. He's followed him around forever. So, you know, they're just going to pick up and they're going to go. And then OU just fell off the face of the earth. I mean, they lost to Duquesne. So honestly, I can't think of a coach that meant more to a college football program than Bill Clark meant to UAB, with bringing them back, resurrecting them from nothing and bringing them back to playing college football and being a good team. I think it's going to take its toll. I think UTSA gets it done here.
I think I'm with you. I think had he not stepped down, I actually think I would have called for the upset here. Mm-hmm. I think now that he's gone, I think I like UTSA to come in there and get that win. I do think that is one of their most important games on the season there, though, within the conference. If you're trying to make a case for, like, okay, personally, before he stepped down, I thought this would be the conference championship. Now I'm kind of like, who is going to be that second team in the CUSA? Could it be the Hilltoppers again? I don't know. Could it be Willie Taggart and Florida Atlantic? I mean, they, from a talent, if you just look at the talent perspective, you know, Florida Atlantic should be somewhere in that mix. But I don't know. I mean, who do you think the second best team is, just before we dive into the rest?
Yeah, if not UAB, I think it's actually gonna be Florida Atlantic. I'm kind of high on them this year. I think they're coming out of nowhere. I forget the odds. I kind of like their odds to win the Conference USA. Like I think UTSA honestly would beat them heads up, but I think they have the talent to hang with anybody. I like that. I remember watching that Netflix show Last Chance U, and then the next thing I know, I'm watching Lane Kiffin coach all of those dudes on Florida Atlantic. And I think Willie Taggart kind of like picked up that and, you know, brings in N'Kosi Perry. I think he's a fun thing waiting to happen in college football. So I'm kind of on FAU. If I'm being honest, I'm not really high on many other teams. The only other team that I think could shock some people is Charlotte, just with all of the returning talent there.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, but what's great about this schedule, from a conference schedule perspective, perspective, I'm sorry, is that they do not play FAU or Charlotte.
Exactly.
So I mean, you're kind of like, hey, well, pretty much, I think you can pencil in UTSA to play for the championship. Anyway, the next game, November 12th, interesting game, and I'm actually going to say this one could be more than what people think. And I'm going to say this is the sling game of the season here. So with that being said, let me tell you, folks, it's college football season, which means you need the unbeatable coverage of Sling TV starting at $35 a month. Sling has all the big games on the biggest channels like ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN3, SEC Network, ACC Network, Fox, and the Big Ten Network, all for the best price. You can stream it on any device. You can record up to 50 hours with included DVR space. You can pause or change your service at any time. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the live TV you love for a price you'll love. Try us today. Yeah, this is an interesting one to me. I mean, you have this overhaul. You have going from a Skip Holtz offense, where actually surprisingly last year they were kind of a pass heavy team, which is rare for Holtz. I feel, I'm an ECU guy. I saw him a lot of grounded pound, but here we are with La Tech, and Sonny Comby comes in over there. He brings a couple guys with him from the air raid at the quarterback spot. I do think this team probably, because when I look back at last year's La Tech team, they were terrible from a record point of view, but they were in a lot of games. They should have beat Mike Leach in Mississippi State week 1. They blew a 20-point fourth quarter lead and missed a game-winning field goal. Then SMU had a converted Hail Mary on them. I don't know if you remember that Hail Mary. Like, it basically deflected to the other part of the end zone, and one guy was standing there alone. And then a 7-point loss at NC State, and then the wheels kind of started to fall off. 3-point loss at ODU, but I do think that team, from a talent perspective, is more talented than probably most realize. It wasn't that long ago. I think just a couple years ago they played for. They were winning bowl games like 5-6 straight years. So I do think they'll rebound a little bit faster, and I think that they better not fall asleep. UTSA better not. I'm taking UTSA. I'm just saying tread lightly, because I think Cumbie is going to walk into a team that's probably more talented than people think based off the record.
Yeah, and you're catching him later in the season once he's gotten a chance to get things going there. I mean, you're on the road, you play UAB, and then you get a big win, and you kind of think like, okay, now we can kind of hit cruise control. So college football world, this is a really, really dangerous spot against a La Tech team that, like you said, has talent, but probably isn't going to show it with their record. So, I'm going to go with UTSA because I'm a believer in the football gods and karma, and I don't really think Skip Holtz should have been fired.
I agree.
So I'm not going to give La Tech this win, but it is a dangerous spot.
Completely agree. So, man, we got them cruising here. Then they head to Rice Stadium, and this is an interesting spot where they catch Rice, because it's a big year for Mike Bloomgren there. He could be fired by this point if he's not there, or if they're not winning. So, on the road in Houston, Texas, taking on Rice, I think they roll. How about you?
Yeah, they got them by 45 last year. They pitched a shutout against Rice. They've won 6 straight. I think they put it on them. I kept thinking that Bloomgren was really going to turn Rice around, and I'm not letting him get me anymore. I'm not buying into it. I think he's done.
I kind of thought so too. There was a couple games in like his first couple of years where they lost, but they lost like it was like they played good, and I was like, he's going to turn them around. I don't know anymore. I think I'm selling that stock. Final game of the season, regular season that is, for UTSA, the UTEP Miners. I like this as a rivalry game, but I'm kind of not high on UTEP this year. Last year I thought it was a little bit of fool's gold, but I hope that program keeps getting better. But I think they roll UTEP in the dome. How about you?
Yeah, I think the same thing too. I'm really not high on UTEP this year. I think UTSA rolls them up. I don't think this is even going to be much of a game.
I agree, and this is my thing on why we should bet this. I think there's only 4 losable games probably on this schedule. When I look at this, it's the UAB game, Texas, Army, and Houston. Now, sure, I think La Tech will be better than what people think. I think Western Kentucky is going to take a step back. Middle Tennessee, maybe you can make a case because Stockstill, I do think is a good coach, but I think like what if we're wrong? If UTSA beats Houston week 1, I feel like you've cashed your ticket.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they could win one of those first 2 games. They could start off 1-2, and then you're really looking fine. Everything else, I mean, even UAB, we already talked about it with Bill Clark. Plus, they got the bye week before.
Yeah.
This is a really good, like a really bad non-conference schedule to get because it's terrible. Every spot sucks, but the conference schedule lines up perfect. You get all winnable games on the road except for the UAB thing. That one's tough, but then you get the tougher teams, your Western Kentucky, you get them at home. So North Texas, who's owned you lately, you get them at home. So I think this conference schedule lines up really, really well.
Yeah, I mean the fact, like we said, they don't get FAU or Charlotte, which might be the second and third best teams in the conference. I mean, I probably think UAB will still be in that mix somewhat, but UTSA is plus 210 to win the CUSA. Look, I understand, like they're still the favorites, but I'm snatching some of that. Because I think they are the best team. I think they're definitely going to be playing in that game. So you're telling me you're going to get a team that you think is definitely going to be in that game, and you're at plus 210. Sign me up for that. And hosting that game, CUSA doesn't do like the neutral site. Hey, go to Charlotte or whatever. You know, go to wherever. They're playing at the Dome if UTSA can handle their business. So I like them plus 210. I like the over. Mike likes the over. I think I might lock this thing, man. You think that's crazy for me to say as a lock here?
I don't think so at all. I'm really on the fence with the lock just because I am really nervous about those first three games, and it's Conference USA where anything can happen. But this team they are more. The more you look into them, the more talented they are. I really think with how bad the Conference USA really kind of is these days, they should run away with these games. Yeah, I don't think plus 130. Those odds are crazy. I think it could be a lock.
No, plus 232 on the
to win the
also.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's a lock bet. Yeah.
I mean, I think like get on over there, meet people. All right, folks, I'm on the over. He's on the over. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Remember, also you can watch us on YouTube, folks. So get on over there. All right, YouTube.com/the College Experience. And remember, subscribe to the College Basketball Experience too. We love college hoops. You know, we talk college basketball year round there. We talk college football year round here. And remember to check out my guy Mike's podcast. I'm telling you, right there. I got it right there. If you're watching on YouTube, you can give Mike a follow on Twitter at GCG_wins. And he is the host of the Coastal Covers podcast. So check out that. He is as knowledgeable as they come. So check it out. I really appreciate you hopping on the show, Mike. So please come back and talk either UTSA or something. Maybe we'll talk. I don't know. We'll have to get you back on talking some more college football, man.
Dude, anything you got, I'm in for it.
There we go, brother. Folks, give the College Football Experience a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Give me a follow on Twitter at TheColbyD. Give Patty C a follow at Patty C831. NC Nick at NC_NICK. We are the College Football Experience. And if you can, get over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Remember, I know you were talking about I forget Dragon Breath or whatever, Kratom Breath, giving us a shitty review. We need a balance. We need to fight back. All right, come on, folks, get on over there. If you do give us a 5-star review, take a little screenshot of your review and show it to us on Twitter. And if you do that, we're basically gonna pull a David Stern here. You're gonna be entered in a raffle, but you will win. All right, at some point here. So just do it. You're gonna win a gift card to the SGPN merch store. So you'll have a lot of access there to pick whatever you want, get whatever. You can get the wife a shirt. All right, I'm sure she'll be thankful. A nice College Football Experience shirt. My wife, she always wants me to bring home one of those. Also, check out all of our other stuff going on. Sports Gambling Podcast. They're doing the NFL futures, going through all 32 NFL teams, going team by team, talking win totals, talking what players to watch out for. And also check out the NFL Gambling Podcast and the fantasy if your fantasy football draft's right around the corner, you're going to check out the Fantasy Football Gambling Podcast. It's summertime. What else? MLB Gambling Podcast. Check that out. Look, we're football nuts. I watch the CFL. Check out the CFL Gambling Podcast. All right. So check out all the Golf Gambling Podcast. Obviously, just a crazy weekend. If you get the SGPN app, you'll have access to all of our shows because I'm forgetting a bunch. But also another thing is hop in the Discord channel. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You could talk college football, college basketball, whatever, college baseball. I know UTSA had a great win this offseason on the college baseball front. any sport you can think of. All right. It could be a monster truck rally going on in friggin' I don't know, Belgium. And I'm sure we got you covered in the Discord channel. So hop in there, sweat out some bets with us, or just kick back and talk sports with us. It's a lot of fun. So, all right, folks.
Jeff Traylor sounds like he would be a monster truck driver over in Belgium.
That is true. That is true. I could totally see that. I could totally see Jeff Traylor behind one of those gigantic things with a fire flame painted on the front of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Shout out to Jeff Traylor. He's doing a hell of a good job. I can't wait to watch UTSA this year. All right, folks, this is the college football experience, meep style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Hit the Olympics. Doesn't matter who wins because they're all losers.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
The best looking man, the best dressed man.
Nothing is over!